Hello and welcome to A Cat in the Garden. As I've mentioned before, fall is a very busy time here if you're gardening in Central Texas, and really if you're gardening anywhere, there are some things that you can grow in the fall, or at least you want to get started. And one of those things is what I'm going to be starting today, which is garlic. Typically you plant garlic in the fall for a spring, probably late spring to early summer harvest, because it does need to have significantly cold temperatures in the ground in order to form those nice bulbs and cloves that we are so used to eating. So I grew garlic for the first time last year, kind of on a whim, and my mom had ordered too much garlic and she was like, "Do you want to try it?" And I said, "Sure, why not?" So she sent me some extra ones. I planted them in the ground and they actually did really well here. So I decided this year to go ahead and order my own for growing in my garden, and it finally arrived yesterday, so I'm very excited about it. You're really supposed to get it in the ground at least a couple weeks before your first real frost, so we're right on schedule for that. But the first thing we got to do before I go over the garlic is I added some new soil and some amendments to this bed, so we're gonna go ahead and get that all settled in before we go over the garlic. All right, now that that is done and it is mostly even, it's the best I could do without a rake, I want to talk about the garlic that I ordered. So this is from Filaree Garlic Farm. It's where my mom got the garlic last year and it worked really well, so I just went on their website and I think I ordered in July. You really want to order it as soon as you know all of the kinds that you want and how much that you can handle, because it sells out pretty quickly, and so if you're higher on the priority list, you're gonna get it quickly. And since I do live in Texas, even though I ordered in July and they started shipping in September, I don't get it until later just because our frost isn't until later. So that's just kind of how that works. But I ordered 3 different types of garlic. The first one is this Mexican pearl garlic. I ordered a 1/4 pound. That is the smallest kind of quantity that you can get. So I got 4 whole bulbs basically, and it looks like they're already starting to sprout, which is cool. And let's see what the next one is. Okay, I got a 1/2 pound of this one. This is the Aglio Blanco garlic. This is an Italian variety. Does really well in zones similar to mine, and that's another nice thing about it. They have a chart on their website where you can kind of see all the growing zones where the different types of garlic do best. So there are a lot of garlics that do best in cold weather climates, and I'm just not able to grow those here as successfully, so I just didn't order them. And I ordered ones that grew better in my climate. So, you know, just kind of makes sense. The last one I ordered a pound of, just because I did grow it last year and I really liked it. I really liked how it looks, and that is the Inchelium red garlic. So this one is really big bulbs, so there's only 5 to a pound, whereas this one I got 4 1/4 pound, so a lot smaller. And then the Aglio Blanco, a 1/2 pound, was 3, and you can just kind of see the bulb sizing difference. So these are definitely going to be the biggest cloves, which I personally really like. I really like seeing giant cloves of garlic when I grow it, and I'm not as good at getting those giant cloves here for some reason, but there's still a hope. So that's kind of why I got it. And we're going to go ahead and use this sort of plant stake that I have to poke even rows in the ground, and then we'll go ahead and get these in the ground, and I'm going to label each row so that I kind of keep track this year, because what you can do also is you can save these for next year. If you store garlic properly, it's going to last a long time. And I typically harvest it in June and I'm planting in November. 5 months is a perfectly reasonable amount of time for garlic to actually still be good. So I'm gonna go ahead and keep them labeled so I make sure if I really like this crop, I'm gonna save some of the best cloves and go ahead and plant them next year. But enough talk about next year. We're gonna go ahead and get these in the ground right now. All right, right, now that is done and we have our garden spaced out. I was able to get 6 rows of 9 each, so 54 total spaces in here. I don't know if that is the right amount for a 6x4 bed or not. I don't do the spacing kind of as an exact measurement, but I figured that the garlic doesn't bulb up quite as much as an onion does, so I did it a little bit more tightly than I would onions, and that's just kind of how I did the math in my brain. Girl math, I guess. But I also got some tags ready. I've got 3 labeled. I have some extra ones here next to me, just because I really want to keep track this year. Last year I didn't do a good job of that, and the only one I was able to kind of get in my head as I knew what it was the Inchellium red, because the paper on the outside is purple, and I grew 2 other white ones that I just didn't know what was what, and I did the same thing this year. I've got 2 white garlics, 1 purple, so I really want to be able to keep track, like I said, to save cloves for next year, because that is kind of my next goal with garlic, is to be able to use it as seed year over year. So we're gonna figure out, I don't know exactly how many cloves I have in here. Maybe I have more than 54, maybe I have less, but what we're gonna do is we're gonna have the biggest bulb, or the biggest cloves is what I'm going to use first, and then if I have extra room, I'm gonna throw in the smaller ones. Now, this is perfectly fine for eating, actually. You can, some people order this just to eat it and store it because it lasts for so long. So if I really wanted to, I could just not use all of this and eat whatever is extra, which I might do anyway. So we'll just go ahead, see what we've got, get some of these in the ground, and go from there. I'm guessing I'll just start with the Mexican pearl first because it's already sprouting. So I'll get the tag in the end of the row here, and we'll just go ahead, inspect these cloves. This one is really sprouting. This bulb here, I think, has the biggest ones, so I'll just go ahead and start breaking them up and just inserting one into each hole. The top of it, or the piece that is sprouting, is what you want to be facing the top, obviously, otherwise you might run into some issues with the garlic. And obviously, if there's any pieces that are damaged or rotting, you might not want to use those. This piece here doesn't look the best, so I think I'm just gonna skip that and use ones that look better. So we'll go ahead, put them in each row, and I'll catch up with you after. Alright, so now we can take a look and see what I've done, and Astra is very excited about it, as you can tell. Are you excited? Are you excited about garlic? Okay, so I actually ended up putting another row along the edge here to make it, I think 6 by 10? Yeah, so 6 by 10, and I moved the tags to the back there, and all of the garlic is in place. I'm just gonna go ahead and kind of rake it over, but also I have a ton of extra garlic and I don't really know what to do with it. Kind of kept this to the side to compost, but yeah, there's so much garlic in here. I really don't know what to do. This kind of shows me that I did not need 1 3/4 pounds of garlic, though I couldn't order this one in anything less than a pound, so I don't really know what I was supposed to do about that. But I mean, I haven't even broken into this bulb of garlic, so I might have to find another bed to add garlic to. Nutmeg is already flattening out the soil, which is nice. That always is helpful. But yeah, it's all in here pretty nice and neat. Just gonna go ahead really quickly and cover them up. They will sprout a little bit before it freezes, which is totally fine to do. Nothing wrong with that. And then they honestly might keep growing through the freezes here. That's kind of what they did last year. And I won't be too mad about that. It's just, you know, not normal, I guess, in terms of what gardening looks like on the East Coast. I've heard that they die back usually, or they don't sprout at all until the spring, but that's not really what I had in my experience, and I still had them cloving up pretty nicely. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish this and we'll check back in after. All right, so we are done with the bed behind me, and I think I have found a solution. So we're gonna go to a bed nearby. I kind of went over my garden plans for fall this year, spring and summer next year, found a bed that I think will have some good space. It's gonna have my watermelons in it next year, which don't really take off that well until June or July anyway, since they're a heat-loving crop. And this fall, it's only got peas on the trellis and a couple of collard green plants. So I think this is going to be the perfect bed for adding in some of my extra garlic. This is the bed here. I am phasing out some carrots there. I've got a few collard green plants along the edges, and I have some peas growing in here. So I have this whole middle space that is going to remain empty. I'm planning on cutting these collard greens frequently, so hopefully they won't drown out any of the space. I might even pull up all of these carrots if I'm really feeling like I need to put in extra garlic, but they're pretty close to the edge of the bed, so I don't know, it might not be quite necessary, but we're basically going to do the same thing all over again that we did with the first bed over there and get some garlic in here. All right, we are in the same boat as last time here. All we have left to do is cover this up. Nutmeg is off to find a bird that he heard calling, but we were able to do 3 rows of 8 this time. And I feel like that didn't get all of the garlic, but it was able to put a significant dent in what was left. So I'm not mad about it, honestly. We were able to do a bit more productive work with this garlic and have potentially a better harvest for next year. So like I said, not mad about it. We're able to get more in the ground and find a spot where they wouldn't be in the way of anything else. So that is a win in my book. Just need to make sure that they are all covered up evenly. I do have more dirt I can add it in if need be, but that is the finished product. So that is going to be it for us here. I'm loving this golden hour lighting right now, even though I hate daylight saving time and that the sun sets so much earlier. It's so annoying, but you know what? I mean, my skin looks like it's glowing right now, so I can't complain about that. But we got that finished in the bed behind me, and then right over here next to Astra is the other bed that I filled up with garlic, and you will see monthly updates on my monthly garden tour series where I show you kind of month to month what's happening in the garden. But in late May, early June, whenever I do harvest all of this stuff, sorry buddy, we will do a full breakdown of what happened with the garlic, how well or not well it does, and we'll do a full harvest video. So that'll be kind of full circle, because last year I wasn't really able to do that because I didn't film getting it in the ground. But I did do the month to month updates. If you're kind of curious to see what that looks like, you can go ahead and check out those videos. I do have it as a playlist on my channel, all of the garden tours that I do every month. But yeah, I'm really excited. I'm glad I was able to use more of the garlic. Still not everything, but hey, there's nothing wrong with eating garlic. And I was able to use all of the biggest pieces, which is a bonus. Everything that's left is significantly smaller, so it's not the like A-list crop anyway. So I'm not mad about it. Just kind of a lesson learned for next year to not order 2 pounds of garlic. But that's gonna be it for this video and for us today. If you liked it, make sure to give Nutmeg and I a thumbs up down below and subscribe so you don't miss anything from us here on the channel. Thanks again, and we will catch you in the next one.